before I get to that, I have another car I got to finish. So I'll be pulling this one in here shortly. At the moment, I have a quick warranty claim I have to do. We work on a bunch of stuff here at the shop, which is no joke. And this is a Jeep Patriot that we worked on a little while ago, and 2 years ago we put a rack in it because the rack gave up the ghost, which is pretty sad considering this thing's not that old. It's actually had this strut replaced, which is questionable, because you can see this one's actually a factory Chrysler one, and the shape of it is different. Clearances are different. This lower control arm's been replaced. This tie rod end's been replaced. We replaced the rack for an op issue, and then you come over here. You can see the tie rod end's shot. This ball joint's actually shot as well. So this ball joint needs done, which is control arm. Tie rod end needs done. And the strut's been replaced, so I'm going to guess this got hit in the left front. The strut was replaced. These probably took an impact when the strut got replaced, and it was just driven with those loose points, which took out the inside rack and pinion inner tie rod end. So, you know, I can't say, no, you got to buy a new rack because your suspension's falling out of the car. We replaced the rack 2 years ago. We're going to cover it under warranty, and then we're also going to have the customer purchase a new tie rod end and lower control arm while we're doing it. It's minimal upcharge to have it done right. Then I can align the car and make sure it's good to go. So let me get this rack swapped out, and then we'll get to work on this Cadillac, because that's what you guys really want to see. But don't forget, we work on normal cars here in Central Ohio. Not just hot rods and race cars. We do normal stuff too. In fact, right now I've been in the middle of cleaning the shop up. Not that you can tell, but you'll be able to tell. We got a Mercedes in for I don't remember what that one's in for. Got a Cadillac in for brakes and struts. And then we've got a Honda in for brakes, brake flush, pads, rotors, calipers. Looking pretty good. Looks like that one will be leaving today. And my AMC chipper shredder hot rod motors. Looking pretty good. I got it all together. Getting ready to drop it back down into the chipper. See if we can start make chips. We started on this wheel and we got 3 of the lugs off. That's annoying. So we haven't seen this car in 2 years. It's clearly had other work done to it. I'll show you here in a minute. It actually looks like it's got the wrong sway bar links installed in it too. And somebody hammered those on, probably cross-threaded them. This is why mechanics are grumpy and why we stay in the back of the shop and there's a service writer up front. we have to deal with other people's mistakes all the time. That's grand. Well, looks like I'm gonna be drilling today. Well, we as mechanics always say a 2-hour job is one broken bolt away from an 8 or 10-hour job. I guess I'm going to grab my drill and drill 2 lug studs that I shouldn't have to drill if they were installed correctly. But it happens. We're in the salt belt. I get it. You can't let it ruin your day. You just have to move on. But we're already doing this as a warranty claim because the front end's all messed up. And it's got some parts that were changed and parts that weren't, so whatever. We just got to get to work and make it happen. It's frustrating. This is why things take so long to get done, and why mechanics are typically frustrated and angry all the time. So there's a few different ways to go about this. Sometimes it depends on the lug nut. Sometimes I can crack it and split them in half. These are a really soft lug, and normally the breaker bar would take them off, and these aren't going to do that. So I'm going to drill straight through. Use the lug as the pilot. Oh! That's better. This is why we buy expensive sockets. That's funny. Sure, now you come off. Well, the good news is I got it. I drilled it a little crooked, but I got it to come free. Relieve the pressure on it. Let's see if we can get the same result with this one, because it's also being stubborn. Let's try it with the impact first, see if it's afraid of me doing that to that. Now that it sees what I've done to its friend. Result I was looking for. Got it. And that's a win. A small victory, but it's still a win. Let's get our tire ends loose. I already have my connector in the car disconnected. I would venture to guess that these sway bar links are incorrect, judging by how long they are. You can actually see this link has been replaced, but it's actually contacting the control arm down here, because this guy should be probably an inch or two shorter, probably right about there. They're normally not right on the control arm. Normally those are done in pairs. This one was done as well. You can see it's pretty close as well, although with the ball joint not being worn out on this side, it's got a little bit of clearance, but it's not great. Alright, well, I got a bite to eat. Made myself less grumpy. Kind of get hangry sometimes. You got to walk away from stuff. Pulled out 2 bolts there and there. Got a bolt here, 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 and here. And pulled off the cross member. And then everybody always probably wonders how in a shop we get stuff like this, because you can't get a wrench in here. And the answer is a crow's foot. It goes on there like that, and then you break it loose. Don't want to round them off. You want to make sure you get on them. Oh. I don't know how you would get that one without the crow's foot. Now, these are just an O-ring seal, so these should come out by hand. Unless they're really crusty. Oh, I need a bucket. Let me go find a bucket. Alright. So is this newer stuff you guys like to see? I just ask because I'm curious. Do you guys only prefer the muscle car and race car stuff, or do you like seeing the stuff we do on some of these newer cars as well? I know it's not very flashy or exciting like the race car stuff is, but this is the stuff that actually pays our bills. The race car stuff and hot rod stuff's fun to do, but it's extremely time consuming in comparison to just an in and out job. Just the way the world works. That one's stiff. That's probably because it's a hard line. Ooh, sounds like we just had another vehicle dropped off by a tow truck out front. Let's see what it is. Should be interesting. Oh, thank you, Mr. Tow driver. What did you bring me? Oh, Z71 pickup truck for transmission. Doesn't drive. And there's that god-awful thing. 5500 diesel. Rusty. You guys that don't live in the Salt Belt probably are laughing at the vehicles that we get to work on here in Ohio. The salt here is brutal on our vehicles, especially if you don't clean it off like that 5500 I just showed you. But it is what it is. That's what we have. Spend all this money on these expensive vehicles to have them eaten up by the garbage they put on the roads so that we can get to work. Seems kind of lame. There we go. Wiggle it and jiggle it and it comes loose. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. There we go. Now it's going to bleed all over the place. Right in the bucket. I'm probably going to have to pull my sway bar loose, which looks like 2 bolts there, 2 bolts there. Actually, let's drop the subframe down and see if we have room without pulling the sway bar. I already have my bolt off of my yoke, so hopefully that'll come loose. Stupid gravity! Next we'll pop our tie rod ends off. I probably should have done that earlier, but I got distracted. Right. 25. 23. That rod is puffed. Oh, it's pretty much it. One wrapping pinion. Got the wheel off.
Did it cut the two bolts off?
Yeah, I did a bait and switch on all of our viewers because I started this video with the Cadillac and I ended up working on a Jeep Patriot. So y'all are gonna hate me for the bait and switch, but I promise I'm getting to that next. Oh, they didn't even give me jam nuts. That's cheap. You go in your hole. Throw a couple bolts in you. Where did I put you guys? Right there. Alright, let's lock you down. More plugs. And let's switch our jam nuts over from the old rack. Alright, so I always like to put a little oil on my threads for my tie rod ends. Helps keep them from seizing up. Down the line for the next guy who lines it will thank me. Heat shield back. Alright, fast forward because my battery went dead. And my 3 backup batteries are also dead because they were unplugged. Got my subframe in loosely. Got my lines tight. I went ahead and pulled off my caliper over here because it needed to come off. And it didn't want to come off the rotor because somebody pad slapped the brake pads onto an old rotor, which is horrible for braking efficiency, but people do it all the time, including dealerships, which surprises me. I don't remember doing that when I worked at a dealer, but we would turn the rotors. And I still have a brake lathe to resurface rotors. I do it every now and then. But I got to drive out these 2 lugs. I hung that up there on a hook so that it's not binding my hose out. Drive those guys out. And then put our new ones in. We can hang our brakes back together. Ouch. And then I got to drop my lower ball joint and lower control arm off this side. I've already put my other tie rod ends back on. They're probably within a turn or so. I got to write that stuff down, the number of turns I take them off, and write them down because by the time I'm putting them back on, I forget what the number was. They say that the memory is the first thing to go with age. So. Shoulder on the other ones is driven all the way in. The shoulder on the new one needs to be driven in. And the shoulder on the new one is driven all the way in. So that's what it takes. Alpha bolts are done, studs are done. Solder pins in my tie rod end. Bring my jam nuts will get locked down on the alignment rack. We gotta grease the joints. Control arms are in. Subframe bolts are in. Engine mounts on. Rack in. Let me get this extra cross member back in.
Well, there you go, folks. Another one done and ready to run. This one is ready to head back to its customer. They'll be coming to pick it up later on today. And just another one of those daily driver type of things we do. I know the fun stuff is what's very exciting to watch on TV, but as Rich alluded to, this is the kind of stuff that pays the bills and keeps the lights on. So we'll call that one quits. She's ready to go. And the next thing is gonna be time to take apart this big old black Cadillac, which you guys will be seeing here shortly. A lot of work in store for that thing, but it's gonna be cool. Anyways, we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Thanks for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Bye-bye.